back, everybody. We're going to go into the conversation of tefillah. As you know, we've started this series and we've gone through a few different parts of davening. The point is that we should evoke some feeling when we say these things. When we say Moida Ani, we shouldn't just say it as, I was told to say these words, or I've been saying it all my life, so I'm just going to continue saying it. And even if I know the meaning a little bit, I'll just say it, and if I don't have the meaning, I'll just move on. When you say it, you should actually bring meaning into yourself. When you look at the words, you should say, hey, I'm just like sitting down by a therapy session and I have someone across, or you're having a conversation with someone and you're talking, you're actually focusing on the conversation. You're not just thinking about something else while you're talking. Imagine you prepare yourself an entire speech and you know all the words by heart, and then you have 1,000 people in front of you and all you're doing is just saying the words out of mind. People are going to pick up on that. You're not speaking from the heart. You're just speaking straight out of the brain. You want to know that you're doing things with feeling. You're doing things with thought, and you want to do it again. You feel like when you're done davening, you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm still not halfway done, and you can't wait for the next time you get a chance to speak to Hashem. Whatever image we create in front of us of who's listening or what's happening or how do we connect, that changes, that evolves. Sometimes we think about Hashem's name, or we think about what does Rachma mean. We think about the love of Hashem, and we start connecting to it. We start feeling that love in our heart, and then we just start talking to Him. We start talking to that feeling. We start talking to Him because we know that this feeling is greater than anything else. So when we say, last week we said, it's about preparation. I'm going into doing the work of Hashem, not because I was requested of Him to do it, but rather also because He requested, but also because I want to do this for Him. I want to be here. I'm preparing myself. I'm washing my hands. I'm getting into the service of Hashem because this is what my life is all about. I want to connect. I want to see Him, and I want to feel Him. And it's a relationship. It's true. It's real. It's raw. And this is how we should daven. So when we go through different parts of davening, I just want to bring some meaning. I don't know if it is the true meaning. I don't know if this is the intent of how it was written, or the intent is that there are so many angles, 70 ways of looking at the Torah, different ways to connect, and different ways that you could evolve together. It's like you have a son, you could eat with him, you could learn with him, you could bike ride with him, you could watch a movie with him, you could spend time with him just by sitting on the couch together. There are so many ways to connect, and this is how every part of davening has a different feeling. And we can have different feelings every single day about the same part. We could look at the Yatzar, even though we say it 6 times a day. Sometimes we'll just say it and it takes us 7 seconds. And sometimes we could just actually meditate on these words, think about these words, have the words just go through our mind and actually create the images that we're saying. Yatzar esa adam b'chachma. He created the man with wisdom. Now, He created the man with His wisdom. Or He created the man to have wisdom, and ubara boy, and He created inside of this man nekavim chalilim. He created pipes that have holes, like the nose and the mouth, and the intestines, and then chalilim. He created things that are hollow, that don't have holes, like the veins and the arteries and the heart, and things that if they do get a hole, as we see later, you start creating this entire image, and you start filling yourself up with gratitude, saying, "Wow. Oh my gosh, this is real. This is a machine that just keeps on working." And you have to start thinking, how do I upkeep it? What's the fuel that I put into it? How do I stay healthy? What type, really, am I putting in 87 or am I putting in 91? Am I putting in diesel? What am I having my vehicle move with? And that's just the part of being healthy. Am I working out? Am I doing physical things to my body that are good for me, or are they harmful? Am I putting myself in harm's way? Am I speeding when I drive, which is v'nishmartem or l'nafshei, or am I getting myself into? Am I speaking badly to someone who's very powerful, to a king that could land me to die? Or am I putting my hand under a blade? What am I like? How am I controlling my life? And not just controlling. How am I taking the gift that Hashem gave me and keeping it pure? How am I making sure that all the pipes inside of me are oiled properly, and that they're not starting to creak? And am I doing the proper work in order to live? And we see that. Wait a second. Hashem gave me chachma. He gave me wisdom. And when I feel that I have a stomachache, I know, okay, I ate this and that, and I ate it too fast. I ate it on an empty stomach. Too much spices or too much oil. And you start putting together and you're like, okay, now I know my body needs to be healthier in order to consume this food. And that's the chachma that we have. But then, in addition to that, it's the chachma that Hashem gave us. That chachma that we have, the wisdom that we have, is just a little teaspoon of what Hashem, of the wisdom that Hashem has. The wisdom which is never ending. Kulam b'chachma asisa. He created everything with chachma. And Hashem gave us a little bit for us to be able to build ourselves up and be the proper people that we should be. So the first part that we spoke about is about being healthy and doing the exercise that you need, going out into nature, using your body for the proper things. And then we have to go into the intellectual, the emotional, and the spiritual part that the body has. So Hashem gave us a thing called chachma. This wisdom that we have is not just for physical gym, it's also for our spiritual gym. We have to know how to use it properly. Use it properly physically, as we said, not to do averos with it, not to do things that are outside of what He allows us to do with the body. And then we have things that we have to think about, things that come to our mind. And there's so many places where we could go to that the mind controls a lot. If people become sad, if people have doubt, or if they feel lost, or if they feel hopeless, what's going to end up happening is the body's going to interpret that hopelessness into a physical feeling. The body's going to start letting go because your mind feels like it's hopeless. The body's going to let go, the metabolism is going to slow down, and pains are going to start coming up, and the knees and the elbows and the hips and the joints are all going to start just creaking and cracking, and that comes from hopelessness. There are people who are in the hospitals, and when they have hope, these people are going to push through. They find the positive in everything. They start. They always think of the positive and how Hashem wants. This is the best for them, and they actually pull through. And that's what we say. That's what we call Yisurim Shalahava. Those are pains that are out of love. Aren't all the pains out of love? No, it just depends how you accept it. If you accept it and you say this is love of Hashem, Ki Hashem Yechiach, the ones who Hashem loves, He rebukes. When you accept it in such a way, your whole body becomes that type of thought. That thought transfers into the body. So no matter what a person goes through, no matter what story they have to deal with, or what struggle they have to contend with, if they see it in a proper way, if they start seeing it as Hashem put me in this world for a reason. He wants me to go through these steps in order to become a certain person. And I don't know how many more steps there are and how many more levels there are in order for me to reach that plateau or that height where I will be able to do something with all these experiences. I don't know. Nobody knows. We keep on thinking that, oh, now I could teach. But then we go through something else, and then we have more to teach. We have more to talk about and more experience and knowledge for the future. But it's all about knowing how to use the chachma. So that's why we start the bracha. Yatzar as Adam chachma. He gave us wisdom. Ubaraboy, and then you go into the physical stuff. But once we see the chachma, once we understand that we have to see the good in everything, we have to understand the ahava of Hashem towards us, that He gave us this life, He gave us this machine that just keeps on going, takes us from place to place. It has raised us. This flesh and bone has been with me, has been with you, has been with everybody else, each person on their own, since they were born. These same toes were there with you, these same fingers and this same nose. And yes, of course, we do silly things and we chop something off. And when I was younger, I had my toe, reattached. And then some people, their legs. And everybody has their own thing. And as long as we know how to see Hashem throughout it and thank Him throughout the entire time and understand that without Him there is no way that we could be alive. There are so many things, like the Gemara says, this body is like a balloon. Have you ever seen a balloon that the hole at the end is not knotted? Yeah, it doesn't have a knot, and the air stays in it. Look at us. We have lungs. The lungs doesn't have a closed hole. There's a mouth, there's a nose, and somehow it keeps on inflating and deflating. We have intestines, we have our stomachs, and somehow air comes and goes, and we're not deflating, we're living, we're good. And it's not just that. When people die, they actually inflate. They actually become a little bit heavier. They become thicker. And it's just interesting how the body works. And we have to understand that Hashem is Roifei Chol Basar Umafli Lasais. He heals us and He does wonderful things. It doesn't just wait for us to become sick. He prevents every sickness from us. And when we do become sick, it's Hashem telling us, okay, now I want you to use the Chachma, review how did you become sick physically, review your spiritual actions and see how can you be better in order to see yourself through this problem, and just have a clear mindset. It doesn't mean that you have to start davening with minyan in order to take away this problem, but if you start seeing just Hashem wants something of me. He gave me this sickness because He wants me to think about Him a little bit more. And then once you start thinking about Him a little bit more, you'll end up with minyan. You'll end up doing the proper things. You'll end up doing mitzvahs and keeping away from averos. Those are results of the goal. And if you would watch the Shabbos thing about Pasha Shoftim that I will put up, you'll hear a little bit more about the goal and the result. Like the results of the goal, like there's the ultimate goal that we want to reach, but as we reach that, there are so many different goals that we have to go through until we get there. Those are all the results of the big goal. And when we look at the goal is to find Hashem throughout our day, even when we go through a hard time, we should use Yatzar. We should focus on the wisdom that Hashem gave us and understand that there's much greater wisdom to everything that happens. There's much greater plan. Hashem has a big idea on top of everything, and this is how we're going to get through. This is how we're going to live, and this is how we're going to be healthy physically. We're going to be healthy spiritually, and now we're going to go through a tiny bit more. That in the body is an entire world of its own. We've spoken about it in the higher talks, how the body is an entire world of its own, and there are different parts and different emotions that are within it the entire time. As we live, right? We go through, just like we go through happiness and sadness and the ups and downs, there's also different parts inside of us. There are the limbs, and there are the arteries and the veins and everything else, that just goes on inside. All of these parts, they serve you as the human being. You as the human, as the person, the boss, the king of all of your parts inside of you, you have to take care of them. You take care of them, you take care of your physical body, you take care of your emotional body and your spiritual body, you take care of all those things, and you will be healthy. That's how it works. And let's say you're not healthy physically, but you take care of your spiritual mind, you take care of that. You have to remember that there's a Mishnah that says, Kol Torah, if there's Torah that doesn't have derech eretz, which means physical, worldly, earthly stuff, soifa mispateles, it's not going to remain. You have to keep yourself healthy in order to keep yourself growing spiritually. And im ein kemach, ein Torah, ein Torah, ein kemach. It works both ways. So just like these parts in the body serve you and they make you be the person that you are, because you're healthy, you could go and do things in the world. You also have to do things for your body to be able to continue serving you. Okay, it works back and forth, like a big number 8. They just go back and forth, which is like a forever symbol. And this is what we have to do in this world. This is how we grow, and this is the chachma that Hashem has put into our lives. We are a continuous positive and negative, going up and down, up and down. And sometimes we may think that this is the positive, but really it's the negative, and this side is the positive. And we keep on going back and forth. Everybody pushes the other side in their own way, and together we keep on going up. And that's where we head into spirals, but it's not for now. So get to know the parts inside of you, thank them for what they're doing, get to know your emotions inside of you, and appreciate them for what they've been through. Appreciate that your body tried protecting you and keeps you safe and keeps you healthy, and use that wisdom that Hashem gave you and apply it to your life every single time, every opportunity that you can. And when next time you say Asher Yatzar, come into it and say, wow, I have a body, I have emotions, I have a mind, I have a Hashem who built all this, and I appreciate all this, I appreciate it. And when you go to the bathroom and you see how you're healthy and how your system is working, you should thank Him for this. You should say, wow, I appreciate this because now that I have this body, I could go and fulfill the needs that I have to do. And from there we go into Elikai Neshama, which is now that we understand the preparation to the service of Hashem, which Alan Tilis Zayim. And then we understand that we have a body, and the body has to keep pushing the pushing me to continue going, and I have to continue pushing the body to be healthy, to help me continue go, and so on. Now we have to see, how does this all work? What's the on switch? And that's going to be next week when we go into Lakai, Neshama, Shanasat be. We start talking about the soul. Looking forward. Have a wonderful day, and stay healthy, stay well, and take care of yourself. My name is Dovi Lemmer. Check out my books on Amazon. Watch the rest of my videos. Subscribe, follow, and share with friends. Please, if you find this interesting, you find any videos interesting, please share. And reach out to me at LemmerHypno@gmail.com. I'd love to talk to you. Have a wonderful day. Take care.